Hello everyone. In this today's video tutorial, we are going to discuss cumulative fatigue and Maynard's equation as applicable for machine parts subjected to completely reverse stresses or completely reverse loading, but the completely reverse load applied on the machine part is not constant, rather it is varying in a cyclic fashion. At that time, how to find out the probable life of the machine part, that is we are going to discuss in today's video tutorial. Today's discussion belongs to CO3 course outcome 3, wherein after studying this unit, or after studying this chapter of design for fluctuating load, the students will be able to investigate and determine fluctuating stress with respect to finite and infinite life of components under simple and combined loading conditions like transmission shafts using modified Goodman criteria. Now, up till now, we have already discussed whenever a machine part is subjected to completely reverse stress, and suppose we need to find out the dimensions of the machine part. In that case, using the equation ut minus sf divided by ut minus sc is equal to ln minus 3 upon 3. Suppose we need to find out the dimensions, we are knowing the expected life. In such cases, we will be in position to calculate ut, sc and ln, and only sf will be unknown to us. Knowing sf, using this equation, we can find out value of sf, and once you know the value of sf, using that value of sf as the safe fatigue stress inside the machine part, one can design a machine part, one can decide the dimensions of a machine part. Secondly, if dimensions and loading condition is given and we need to find out the expected life of the machine part, if the applied load is completely reverse and dimensions are specified, then of course the induced completely reverse stress can be calculated, that will be named as SF, and using that value of SF, one can calculate capital SF. Knowing SUT value, one can calculate UT. Knowing the endurance limit, one can calculate AC, capital AC. And then using this formula, ln will be the only unknown that will be found out, and based on value of ln, one can calculate expected life of the machine part. Hence, before we have solved both kind of examples, numericals, wherein first of all we have found out dimensions, that means we have designed a machine part when the expected life was specified using this equation, and secondly we have solved two examples wherein we have calculated the life of the machine part, wherein dimensions and loading condition was specified and life was unknown. Life in terms of number of cycles was calculated. Such two examples already we have solved. Now the problem arises, suppose the applied load, which will be of completely reverse nature, if it is not constant, that rather it is varying in a cyclic fashion, so the induced completely reverse stress inside the machine part will also vary following the cyclic fashion as that of the applied load. Suppose, as specified in this table, the applied load causes the completely reverse stress of magnitude plus minus 300 Newton per millimeter during first 50 seconds. Then the applied load changes and accordingly induced stress changes to the value of plus minus 600 for next 30 seconds. Afterwards, applied load changes and so changes the induced completely reverse stress to the value of plus minus 450 for next 15 seconds. And this cycle repeats itself. In such a condition, whenever applied load and hence induced stress keeps on varying or changing according to the time in a cyclic fashion. In such cases, how to find out the life of a machine part? That is the discussion of today, which will be based on this life will be calculated based on the idea of cumulative fatigue and using the Miner's equation, which is based on idea of cumulative fatigue. uh, One can calculate the expected life of machine part, which will be subjected to varying completely reverse stress, which is varying in a cyclic fashion. For example, I have assumed some vague data here, and using this data, I will explain how to find out life of a machine part if the applied load and hence induced stress is varying in a cyclic fashion using the Miner's equation. Now, all these things already we have gone through. Just to recall the things, while calculating the number of cycles, if the applied load and hence induced completely reverse stress is known to us, then one can use the SN part of SN curve using this, and the similar triangles ADB and AEF, ADB and AEF. Then knowing the coordinates of these triangles using the principle of similar triangles, ratio of similar sides will be same. Height of the smaller triangle divided by height of the larger triangle will be equal as base of the smaller triangle divided by base of the larger triangle. Based on this consideration, we have developed this equation ut minus SF divided by ut minus SC is equal to ln minus 3 upon 3. Now we are knowing that ut represents log to base 10 of 0.9 times SUT value. SF represents log to base 10 of SF, whereas SF is the completely reverse stress induced inside the machine part. AC, capital AC represents log to base 10 of AC, where AC is the endurance limit for the machine part, and ln represents ln is equal to log to base 10 of n, wherein n is the number of cycles, life in terms of number of cycles. So we have to use this equation for finding out life of a machine part when it is subjected to completely reverse stress. But if the applied load and hence induced stress is varying in a cyclic fashion, then for finding out life of such a machine part which is subjected to completely reverse stress, which is varying according to a cyclic fashion, in such case we have to use Miner's equation for finding out life of the machine part. Miner's equation is as specified here: alpha upon n1 plus alpha upon n2 plus alpha upon alpha x upon nx is equal to 1 upon n. Now here alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, etc. if added represents 1. Actually alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, etc. are the fraction of the working cycle for which the completely reverse stress is induced inside the machine part. Now here you can see for the first 15 seconds, completely reverse stress is of value plus minus 300. It is called as serial number or element number 1. During the element number 1 of the work cycle, induced completely reverse stress is plus minus 300, and this element number 1 lasts for 15 seconds. Here one can see the total work cycle is of 1 minute or 60 seconds, and the first element lasts for 15 seconds. That means in fraction it lasts for 1 by 4 or 0.25. It is lasting for 25% of the time. Secondly, induced stress of value plus minus 600, element number 2, lasts for 30 seconds. out of 1 minute's work cycle. 1 minute's work cycle, the element number 2 lasts for 30 seconds. That means it lasts for 50%, or in fraction it is, its duration is 0.5. So alpha 2 is equal to 0.5, alpha 1 is equal to 0.25. Element number 3, wherein completely reverse stress develop inside the machine part, is 450. It lasts for 15 seconds. So therefore alpha 3 is again equal to 0.25. So these are the values of alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3. Alpha 1 is 0.25, alpha 2 is 0.5, alpha 3 is 0.25 in our case. So summation of all alphas will be equal to 1. And secondly, this minus equation will also be true, wherein alpha 1 upon n1 plus alpha 2 upon n2, alpha 3 upon n3 will be equal to 1 upon n, where n represents the actual expected life of the machine part, which is subjected to completely reverse stress, which is of varying nature. Now let us consider what is the meaning of n1, n2, n3, etc. Here n1, alpha upon n1, this n1 represents life in terms of number of cycles if the stress equal to the stress in element number 1 is solely applied. Suppose actually here what is happening, the machine part is subjected to varying stress. Stress varies from 300 to 600 to 450, and then this stress cycle keeps on repeating. Suppose this stress cycle is not repeating, rather only stress equal to stress inside the element number 1, stress equal to plus minus 300 is induced throughout the life of the machine part. In such case, what will be the life of the machine part? That will be indicated by n1. N1 indicates life of the machine part when it is subjected to solely the stress equal to the stress in element number 1. Suppose element number 1 is it's having stress of plus minus 300. Suppose this plus minus 300 stress is not varying to 600 during the element number 2. It is not varying to plus minus 450 during the element number 3. It is remaining constant, suppose. Then in such case, what will be the life of the machine part? That will be indicated by n1. So n2 will be the life of the machine part if stress equal to the stress in element number 2 is solely applied. Suppose the machine part is subjected to only stress plus minus 600, and this induced stress is not varying, it is remaining constant to the value of plus minus 600. Then what will be the life of the machine part? That will be indicated by n2. So on the similar lines, if plus minus 450 is the sole induced stress inside the machine part, then what will be the life of the machine part? That will be indicated by n3. And as I have already told you, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 are representing time percentage in the work cycle. Time percentage, element number 1 lasts for 25% or 0.25. Element number 2 lasts for 50%, that means 0.50. Element number 3 lasts for 25%, that means 0.25. So alpha 1 upon n1, that means 0.25 upon n1 plus 0.5 upon n2 plus 0.25 upon n3 is equal to 1 upon n, where n is the actual life of the machine part, which is subjected to completely reverse stress, which is varying from time to time during a work cycle. Now n1, n2, n3 is what we have already studied now. Now for calculating n1, n2, n3, we have to use this usual equation ut minus sf upon ut minus sa is equal to ln minus 3 upon 3. Now here from the given data we will be knowing value of SUT. Based on that, we can calculate UT. From the given data, we'll be in position to calculate AC, and using that value of AC, we'll be calculating capital AC. Now, using the stress in the element number 1, that is say 300, using SF as 300, we'll be calculating SF1 as 300, and then we will be calculating ln1, and based on ln1 we will be calculating n1. Antilog of ln1 will indicate n1. So we are here in this case the work cycle is of 3 elements, so we have to use this equation thrice. One for calculating n1 based on stress SF is equal to 300. Secondly, again we are using the same equation. Using SF2 is equal to 600, we are calculating N2, and using SF3 as 450, we are calculating N3. So we are going to use this equation 3 times for calculating N1, N2, N3. Now here the same thing has been shown here. Now, for understanding purpose, let us assume SUT in a particular case was of 500 and AC was of 96.37 Newton per millimeter square. So, UT will be calculated based on this equation, based on value of SUT, 0.9 times SUT, log to base 10 of 0.9 times SUT will indicate UT. UT will be calculated. On the similar lines, capital AC will be calculated log to base 10 of AC. So the values will be as shown here. Now SF1 will be equal to log to base 10 of SF1. This S suffix F1 is 300, S suffix F2 is 600, and S suffix F3 is 450. So SF1, SF2 and SF3 having log to base 10 of these values, we can calculate capital SF1, capital SF2 and capital SF3. Now usual equation UT minus SF upon UT minus AC is equal to ln minus 3 upon 3. UT is known to us 2. UT is 2.6532 and AC is 1.9839. AC is 1.9839. So just adjusting the figures here, we can calculate one line equation like 14.895 minus 4.483 times SF is equal to NN. Usually such a one line equation is calculated, generalized one line equation is calculated, simplified equation is calculated, and now using SF1 here we are going to calculate ln. SF2 we are going to calculate ln2. SF3 we are going to calculate ln3. This minus 3 is not present here. By mistake I have written minus 3. Actually this minus 3 is not necessary. We have taken it into account here in 14.895. So by mistake I have mentioned minus 3. This minus 3 is not required. So using value of SF1, SF2, SF3, we can calculate ln1, ln2, ln3, and having antilog of that, we can calculate n1, n2, n3. Now we are having with us the value of alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, likewise for different fractions of the element of the work cycle, and also n1, n2, n3, the number of cycles if the sole stress is applied to the machine part. So using values of n1, n2, n3, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, we can calculate n, where n represents the actual life of the machine part when completely reverse stress in a varying in a cyclic fashion is applied to the machine part. What will be the actual life, that n life in terms of number of cycles will be calculated. So this is Miner's equation or use of Miner's equation to calculate the life of the machine part subjected to varying completely reverse stress, which is varying in a cyclic fashion. So this is discussion regarding cumulative fatigue and use of Miner's equation. In this today's video tutorial, we have seen what is the cumulative fatigue, what is Miner's equation, and how to find out expected life of motion part when it is subjected to varying completely reverse loading and hence induced stress in a cyclic fashion. So that's all for today's discussion. Thank you.